And what you're going to start to recognize is that as a coach, any client dissatisfaction comes from unmet expectations. Like your clients had certain expectations on you, and you had certain expectations on your clients, and there was a mismatch. You didn't actually communicate clearly, and you didn't get your clients to communicate clearly in terms of what would I have to do in order to make you satisfied with this product, this service, this program, whatever. I've had the Category King project begin. I've got our case studies, 5 amazing new clients going through the program. I spent the entire week building, I suppose, the framework of the client journey, the processes, documenting the communications, getting clear with every outcome that I want these clients going through this process to achieve. And so that's taken a lot of bandwidth, and that's taken a lot of mental energy inside of the brain. I call this like brain RAM. And what you're going to notice when you build a business is that inside of these moments, especially if you're going out there and you're getting clients and coaching clients, and you start to recognize that the game of business, and I wish I knew this when I first started because it would help me so much. I wish I knew that getting clients to coach them, it's kind of like the best part. It's kind of like when you get to have a conversation with your client and you get to create art with them, and you get to sit down, you get to know them a little bit more, you get to know about their goals, their ambitions. You get to explore, the path to helping them get there. You get to consult them, and then you get to almost help them overcome their negative bullshit and motivate them. And that's one of the most exciting parts. And what I wish I knew at the start was how difficult it is to not only be in the art of coaching clients and having that experience and having that relationship with them, but understanding every other dynamic that actually is required in order to grow the business. Things like advertising, for instance. And if you're not advertising, that's also okay. If you're not spending money on ads because you don't have money to spend on advertising, well, you got to figure out how to get in front of more prospects. You got to figure out how to get yourself booked on other people's podcasts so that you can share your experience, your expertise. You got to figure out how you can get more attention to get more eyeballs on your message, on your content, on the thing that you love so much. Right? That's the very first part. And of course, if you understand the game of advertising, it actually just allows you to create leverage. And scaling and growing is all about figuring out leverage points. The only way that you can actually grow inside of this business is figuring out where you can actually create maximum leverage. How do I expand? How do I 2x, 3x, 4x what I'm currently doing? And leverage is the form of expansion. And when you actually create leverage, what tends to happen is you move away from the art a little bit more. So as you create leverage inside of your coaching business, you're not going to be able to maintain that relationship with every single one of those clients because you're going to have more and more and more clients come in. And so the funniest part about success, and something that I was talking about with Kerry this morning on our walk, was I said, as I coached hundreds, we got to 350 clients at one stage, at any given stage, what I started to notice was it was impossible for me to feel the art of coaching, because I was so focused on scale and leverage that I was in the science of business, but I was no longer in the art. And when you're no longer in the art of business, you forget, and you forget the feeling of that fulfillment, of that joy, of that relationship, to really getting to know your clients, to really getting to know their stuff, to really actually raising the standards for them and showing them the pathway, and really getting to understand what environmental conditions they grew up in, who they're surrounded by, why they're not motivated. Maybe they've had false beliefs, or maybe they've just got this fantasy inside of their mind that they haven't really explored. Maybe they don't even know what they want. And so there's an array of things that as an artist and as a coach, you get to create art because every single person's different. Yet in your attempt to scale, what tends to happen is you lose the fulfillment of your business because now you're focusing on the numbers, the processes, and this isn't fulfilling to you because the art is inside of the communication, the coaching. So going back to what I wish I knew right at the very start was building a business of any sort is a difficult feat. And it is a journey that you're going to experience on your own. It's a journey that you're going to experience because the people around you, your wife, your partner, your spouse, your kids, your cousins, your friends, your family, they won't actually understand the experience. They won't. They won't understand why you're so obsessed. They won't understand why you're so hypersensitive. They won't understand the effort that you put on or you put in. And whether you're running ads or maybe you're going out there hard with organic posting, or maybe you're on Instagram, you're asking people to swipe up or send you a DM, and you've spent so much time, energy, and effort and that there's these opportunities that you need to take. And in those moments where it could be a Saturday night, could be a Friday afternoon where your partner, your spouse wants to hang out, or your friends want to come over, and you've just spent the last 3 weeks putting in so much effort to getting these opportunities in front of you. They don't understand why you're always on your phone. They don't understand why you can't switch off. You don't even understand why you can't switch off. And it becomes this game of disconnection. This generally happens to a lot of artists and a lot of people obsessed in growing their business. They find themselves either disconnected. And it takes this level of obsession to actually break through, because the work that's required in building a business, you're going to need to master skills like advertising, marketing, learning how to communicate your message, learning how to write, because these are all forms of leverage. If you can create more forms of leverage inside of your business by communicating your message, then you actually don't need to get a copywriter. The copywriter can then start to transcribe your videos, and you can speak through your videos, and now the copywriter has stuff to write with. And if you get so good at marketing and selling through your content that you make sales irrelevant, that's another form of leverage, which actually increases sales, because now you don't need as many salespeople to close the deals for you, because you know how to write. The majority of salespeople, they're closing deals and clients over the phone. The reasons why they need to sell over the phone is because they don't know how to clearly communicate with words. They don't know how to clearly communicate their message through video, such that they can elicit a response, an emotional response for the other person on the other side to see enough value, build up enough trust, tackle all of the objections, and pull the trigger. And so what generally happens is that selling on the phone is the ultimate form of laziness. It's not creating leverage. It's very difficult to scale. Scalability comes in when you're able to optimize yourself. Scalability means when you actually understand that yourself as the entrepreneur, if you can maximize your skills and understand the strategy and understand the message, and you can build the right team and right environment around you, you win. But there are a couple of things that you're going to need to do. Number one, you're going to need to master the skill of communication. This is not just important because you need to communicate to your prospects. You need to actually communicate to your team members. You need to communicate to your clients. And what you're going to start to recognize is that as a coach, any client dissatisfaction comes from unmet expectations. Like your clients had certain expectations on you, and you had certain expectations on clients, and there was a mismatch. You didn't actually communicate clearly, and you didn't get your clients to communicate clearly in terms of what would I have to do in order to make you satisfied with this product, this service, this program, whatever. Why? Because there's also a lack of leadership. There's a lack of asking. Okay, so there's a lot of things in terms of building a business that I wish I knew, but there's one thing that I'd love to go back to, is that this goal and this obsession that you and I have inside of our minds to build it's our baby. And the worry that, and the thought process, and the amount of mental bandwidth and RAM that we put into it every single day, nobody's going to understand, and that's okay. They're not supposed to understand. If you go inside of your partner's mind, they're not thinking about the same things you are, and you can't expect them to, because you're not thinking about the same things they're thinking. You're not worrying about the same things they're worrying. And so whilst you're inside of your own bubble, understand that they're inside of theirs, and at the same time, if you want your relationships to work around you, well, you got to set up the expectation. If I knew this earlier, I wish I had set up the expectation clearly with Kerry in terms of telling her this is what it is. This is what I'm currently doing. It is difficult. I think about this night and day. I wish I would have just communicated more to her earlier on, much more. Like, I wish I had communicated to the level that we communicate on our walks every day, so that she could get plugged into my world, I could get plugged into her world. We could actually develop respect for each other, understanding for each other. She could then appreciate the work that I did, I could appreciate the work that she did, and then we would come together, given the set times that we had arranged, to actually connect, to actually take a break, to actually unwind, to actually do stuff and experience stuff together. But a part of that requires us, you, me, being the person running the business to take care of our own shit. To understand that this game is hard. And we have to understand that the clients that you want next month come from the leads that you nurtured 6 months ago. They don't come from the ads that you run next month. The greatest clients that you're going to get are the clients that have been following you for years. And yet what's really crazy is this need for instant gratification. This instant gratification of, oh my God, Lynn, my bank account's down. I need to make money now. And you see that. You see that with the world of COVID. You see that with the world of coaches jumping online instantly because they need to make money now. And that desperation creates what? Short-term thoughts, short-term actions. Leads to short-term thinking, and then you pay the price. So what I mean by this is, if you feel the need to give into instant gratification, you ultimately run ads immediately, work with clients that you shouldn't have worked with, and now you're stuck with clients that are dragging you down. You can't actually grow, you can't expand. Had you created more of a runway, learned how to market, learned how to communicate your message, got enough prospects, warmed them up enough, create a great filtering process to actually get them through, now you actually get better clients. But in this process, it's kind of like the marshmallow test. How far can you push away instant gratification, and how long can you delay that gratification? If you can delay gratification inside a business, you can win. And the reality is, just like most people want to lose weight only when they feel fat or only when they've got a wedding to attend to next week, most people just want to grow a business because they've got bills to pay next week. And so that pressure creeps up only to create short-term thinking. And so short-term thinking, you can never win short-term thinking. Short-term thinking only creates more problems, creates a dead-end road. Ultimately, what's really crazy about this is that if you're running a business online and the dream of online is to have more freedom, what you're going to find is you end up creating a prison for yourself because you lack the discipline, you lack the structure, you lack the clarity, you lack the communication in order to set boundaries for yourself so that you can have freedom. Discipline and boundaries equals freedom. Learning how to communicate that to your partner, your spouse, your friend, your family, that creates connection. Combining the two is going to give you a fulfilled life. So I'm going to wrap up this video with what I wish I knew when I first got started 6 years ago. Coming into my 7th year, started out as a health coach. I've gone into business coaching, gone into developing now an agency. And in 2021, me and Gary are going all in on relationships, which is phenomenal. But I hope these lessons that I can share with you allow you a deeper insight into understanding, hey, the game of business, whilst tactically might seem easy, whilst tactically you can do things on Instagram, you can do things with Facebook groups, you can do things and get clients on LinkedIn, it's relatively simple. There's a few reasons why you're not doing them. You might believe that, heck, you might sacrifice time with your family. Like a big thing for me in growing my business was, well, I don't want to take time away from me and Ocean. So I didn't. I need to recognize that. I need to recognize why the business wasn't growing, because I was like, I don't want to work anymore. I don't want to work anymore because I'd rather spend time with my beautiful daughter. And it's just that. The only way to get to the truth at the end of the day is to start to recognize the facts of your actions. Your actions and other people's actions lead them to drift, not what we say, not what we say we want. So that being said, I'll leave this video here. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know. Did this help? Are you in the same boat? Are you experiencing this in terms of the difficulty of the balance, the difficulty of finding the boundaries, the difficulty of unmet expectations, creating chaos and conflict inside of your coaching relationships? And of course, if you like the message, feel free to give me a like. That's going to help push out this video to more people and hopefully help serve more people. That being said, I hope you have an amazing day. It's not long till 2020 is over, but that's a crazy, crazy year, one that's going to go in my history books for a pivotal moment inside of my life to start recognizing, declaring life's too short to settle. And so moving over to 2021, it's about actually creating the things that you and I ultimately want for ourselves and not settling for good and chasing great. Have an amazing day. I'll see you next time.